is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the JW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me today. We are here for a Hot Take Tuesday. Episode 32 of Season 2 is officially here. I do apologize for the very, very late start. We are only an hour late, but it was just, a little bit different of a week for me. I had a little bit different of a schedule, and I couldn't really prep everything the way I thought I could for where I was. Kind of just got home at like 3 o'clock today, so I was busy, and you guys know how the holidays are. The holidays get crazy. You're running around doing all crazy stuff. Sometimes you go out of town. Sometimes you're not home for a while. All that crazy stuff happens, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me today. I really appreciate you guys being patient and still tuning in, still here. I truly appreciate you. Joshua Kissinger, I seen you here today, and let's not forget to appreciate the people who dropped the hot takes today. I did ask for them yesterday, so that was no different. Everything just wasn't as planned as normal, but that's okay. Rather late than never. Now, next week will be the giveaway week, so if you want to be entered into the giveaway next week, make sure you join that Discord server. You join that Discord server, you can you drop a hot take the week the giveaway is, and then you automatically enter the giveaway that way. Now, if you are a member, you automatically enter the giveaway. Now, we are looking to get our membership back really soon. Monetization will be back soon, so new members will be able to happen. Right now, we're still trying to get back to that point. We had a little hiccup. The highlights I were posting, YouTube didn't like that, so, I accept the mistake. I move on, and I kind of got a little caught up in how many views the shorts were making, but I learned the hard way, and sometimes that is the best way to learn. So I'm excited to get into Hot Take Tuesday. We have quite a few hot takes, 4 hot takes from the Discord server, and we are going to start with Joshua Kissinger. The Colts win 2 of their last 3, being against the Falcons and Texans, so then he's implying that we lose to the Raiders. So I think we'll beat the Falcons and the Raiders, but I think we're going to lose to the Texans. Let me tell you why. So the Falcons, we should beat the Falcons. Whoever the quarterback is, I would much rather play Desmond Ridder over Taylor Heinicke. Oh, real quick before we do get into it. How's everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing well. What is going on? What is going on? Why did I say that? Just, how's everyone doing? I appreciate you guys for stopping. Hope you all are doing well. Going on forward, I hope to play some tackle football on the beach with some, there you go. There you go. That'll be fun. That will be fun. So, let's restart. Wipe the slate clean. The Colts win 2 of their last 3 The Colts win 2 of their last 3 being win against the Falcons and Texans, but they lose to the Raiders, because that's what you're implying. If they lose, if they win the last 2 out of 3, you beat the Falcons, Texans, you're going to lose to the Raiders. Basic implication. So, I think the Colts will beat the Falcons. I think they'll beat the Raiders. And depending on how healthy the Texans are, I think the Texans will beat the Colts. I don't think we're going to sweep the Texans this year, especially if C.J. Stroud is playing the second time around. Now, C.J. Stroud isn't going to have Tank Dell. He just hasn't looked as good without Tank Dell, but he hasn't really had a chance to kind of adapt to his new weapons and into the guys who are stepping up into an extended role. So, the Colts beating the Falcons, I think it's pretty possible. All these games are winnable. But that doesn't mean you're going to win all 3. The Colts are 8-6. But don't get that twisted. They are a good football team, but you can't trust them. Sometimes the offense is going to have a good day. Sometimes they'll have a bad day. Sometimes the defense will have a great day. Sometimes the defense will have a bad day. So, winning against the Falcons, I think is very possible. I think we do beat the Falcons. I would much rather play Desmond Ridder over Taylor Heinicke, because Desmond Ridder definitely turns the ball over a lot. But Taylor Heinicke did turn over the ball quite a bit when he was in. But typically, I think Desmond Ridder is the quarterback you want to go up against to get more turnovers. But it kind of depends. The offense is kind of tough. The coaching is not very good. And, on the other side, on the opposite sideline, you have great coaching. And I believe the Colts are at home for these last 2 games as well. So that's a big W. That's a big advantage. But beating the Falcons, I think you beat the Falcons. I think you beat the Raiders. Unfortunately, I think you lose to the Texans. That game, depending on, if the Colts do beat the Falcons and the Texans, or the Falcons and the Raiders, and the Texans lose to the Browns this week, or let's just say they lose and we win out, and the Jaguars lose one more game, we can possibly win the division. But I think this game is either going to be for the division or the last playoff spot, and I think it's more likely going to be for the division because, I mean, man, the Bills. I can't imagine the playoffs without the Bills this year. The Bills are such a dangerous and great football team. I know their record doesn't say so, but they are so talented. And, what's crazy to me is you look at that Bills football team, and the Bills, the play calling hasn't even been that good. Ever since Dorsey was let go of his duties, you had Joe Brady step in. And the first week, wow, looked much better. You were doing what you should do, letting Josh Allen be under center, not just giving him a gun look, letting him, do that kind of stuff. But even though the play calling's been worse, it feels like Josh Allen's, they've been so much better without Dorsey. So, but the Colts, let's go back to the Colts, right? I think you beat the Falcons. I think you lose to the Raiders. No, I think you beat the Falcons. You beat the Raiders, and then you lose to the Texans. So, for the Colts to win, to beat the Falcons and the Texans, lose to the Raiders, I'm going to go warm. I'm going to say it's unlikely, because that's just not what I think is going to happen. But I'm not going to go hot. I'm not going to go piping, because this is something that very well can happen. You never know what kind of Colts team you're going to get. They're very well coached. But you never know what you're getting in terms of, is the offense going to be great today? Are they good at running the football? Is Minshew going to be turning the ball over a lot? How is the defense going to play? Are they going to be in a good playing type of mood, or are they going to play a rough game? We saw what happened in the second half versus C.J. Stroud. He lit us up. He torched the defense. But the Colts winning 2 of their last 3 games in general, I'm going to say cold. I'm going to say it's likely because the schedule is favorable. But for them to, do this exact thing, beat the Falcons and the Texans, lose the Raiders, I am going to go warm. Next hot take. So a little disclaimer, guys. If I see comments while I'm talking about hot take, I'm not going to talk about the comment until after the take. Because I want to keep the flow going of that take. I want to keep the flow going of that topic. So if you guys leave any comments, like, Joshua Kissinger or whoever does, I will for sure respond to it after I'm done making my point, because I think it ruins the flow. So I'm just going to do that. So, Bafoonish. The Rams and Colts sneak in to make the 7th seed. The Rams, man. This Rams football team is a sneaky MF team. You better watch out. This is a team that I can see making the playoffs and playing spoiler. Their defense isn't great, but their defense has been middle of the pack. It's been good. The emergence of Byron Young to help out Aaron Donald has been awesome. Aaron Donald is always going to make your defense better, no matter where it is, if he wasn't. You have Akella Witherspoon, who has played pretty well. They have some good pieces on the defense. You look at the offense, man. This offense is explosive. Let's not forget, just a couple of weeks ago against the Cleveland Browns versus one of the best, if not, I believe at the time it was the highest ranked. If it wasn't, the Ravens were. It was the highest, if not the second highest, one of the highest rated, or just one of the highest ranked passing defenses in terms of allowing passing yards. Yet the Rams, and just defense in general, the Browns have been incredible. The Rams went in there and put up 36 points on them. I don't know if there's another team that put up that many points on the Browns. And you look at this Rams offense, you look at this Rams team, people just look at the Rams and be like, Matthew Stafford's old. They're 7-7. They're not a really good football team. If you just look at the record, I think that is so lazy. That is very lazy. The record typically can, a lot of people say the record, a team is what the record is. And that is to some degree. I agree up to, there are certain circumstances and situations that you exclude from that. And the Rams and the Bills, I think, are both teams. Now, I think the Bills are a much better football team than the Rams, but the Rams are sneaky. Matthew Stafford is still an incredible quarterback. He's still a great quarterback. He's very smart. I think, like, a lot of people just forget, oh, he won the Super Bowl, so, he doesn't have to be that anymore, or he's not that anymore. No, that's not what that means. Or he had a down year, he's not that anymore. No, that's not what that means. He was kind of hurt most of the year last year, So, the Rams are a sneaky football team, man. Do not underestimate this football team. They will surprise you. I will not be shocked if they make it into the playoffs as the 7th seed. I can see them playing spoiler to whoever wins the NFC East, where it's the Eagles or it's the Cowboys. I can see them playing spoiler to either of those teams, and I think that is a fun scenario to think about. All right, halfway done with that one. Marshmallow, what's up, man? How you doing? I appreciate you stopping by. I know it's a very late one. Very late one. How was your day, fam? Appreciate you stopping by. It's been a little while. I haven't been dropping as much Colts content. I'm kind of making the transition a little bit to the entire NFL. But I do plan to keep on making Colts content. I just kind of been transitioning, testing the waters, experimenting. But, all right, let's get to the second half of this hot take. See, I kind of paused in there because this is kind of like a two-parter. So I feel like it doesn't ruin the flow as much. But the Colts sneak in. All right, Marsh, what do you think about the Colts? You think the Colts are going to make it? So the Rams. So the Colts sneak in to make the 7th seed. Can it happen? I think the Colts' best chance to make the playoffs is to win the division, honestly. With Trevor Lawrence being out one more week, if the Colts went out and the Jaguars lose to the Bucks, the Colts went out, they win the division. It's that simple. But they need to have a better overall record than the Jaguars, which if the Jaguars lose to the Bucks, the Colts win this week, and the Colts win out, the Colts will win the division because they played the Texans last week, which is the only other team that will be competing at the time if the Texans went up to that point. So, because you look at the wild card race, man. All right, look, we already have the disadvantage over the Bengals, over the Browns. The thing we do have against the Bengals is we have to hope that there are multiple teams with the same record. If, the Colts, the Bengals, and say there has to be a third team for us to be ahead of the Bengals and the Browns. Because if there are 3 or more teams that are tied, the head-to-head matchups are thrown out the window. It doesn't matter anymore. So the best case scenario for the Colts is that the Browns, the Bengals, and whatever team are tied with the Colts. But mostly the Browns and the Bengals, even if it's just the Browns, the Bengals, and the Colts that are tied, the head-to-heads are thrown out the window. It becomes a conference record game, a division record game. And the Colts have a good division record. The Bengals don't have a good division record. The Bengals don't have a good conference record. So the Colts would absolutely jump the Bengals. But the Browns, I don't think so. I think they would still be stuck behind the Browns. But if they went out, their conference record would be 8-4, which is pretty solid. That's a solid conference record. Especially, and I think the Bills are going to take a playoff spot. Whether it's the Bills or the Dolphins have a wild card spot. Because I could see a scenario where the Bills somehow, some way pull off a miracle and win that division. But I think the Dolphins are going to win that division. I still think the Dolphins are going to cling on and they are going to win the NFC East. But point making is there is a spot that's already taken. Well, not necessarily for the Bills. The Bills aren't guaranteed to make it, but how could you tell me that you can't, that they won't? That's, if they win out, but they don't, the Bills need help. That's the bottom line. But some of the other teams that the Colts beat, right? They beat the Steelers. They beat Houston. So, those are kind of the only 2 teams that you beat that are really teams of importance there. Because you lost to Cleveland. You lost to the Bengals. So you need the hope that the Colts have the same overall record as both of those teams if the Colts are to be in over one of those teams. I do think the Colts, I'm not sure if they make it to the playoffs, honestly. I really want to see them there. And I think they could. Obviously, they have a pretty good chance. The rest of the schedule is favorable. If you win out, they're going to make it. There's without a doubt. It's within their own hands, I'm pretty sure. Because the Bills, they have a 4-5 conference record. We would have a better conference record than them. So we would get so we would keep it in over them. You know what I'm saying? We would keep it in over them. But losing to the Browns and the Bengals really hurting us. But the Bengals don't have a good conference record. The Browns will probably stay ahead of us unless we win the division. That is the only way we jump them is if we win the division. I'm not sure if the Colts can win the division, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. If Trevor Lawrence goes out this week and the Colts win out, it's possible. But all these games are winnable for the Colts. But that doesn't mean you win all of them. You know what I'm saying? I could see them slipping up against the Falcons. I could see them slipping up against the Falcons and the Texans. And if that's the case, you lose 2 out of the last 3, you're probably not going to make it. Because the playoff race is so tight. So, for both of them to sneak in at the 7th seed, that's tough. I think I'm going to go hot. No. Because this is bold right here for me. I'm going to guarantee you that the Rams make the playoffs. This is bold to me. But I am that confident in the Rams. The Rams are that good of a football team. They're very dangerous. Like I said, their defense is middle of the pack. Their offense is so explosive. Kyren Williams has been a goon. Cooper Kupp, a goon. Who else? Puka Nacua, a goon. And they also have a guard that Steelers fans were complaining about and moaning about and just talking so much crap on. I think his last name was Dotson. Bro, he's been a monster. He's been so good for them. I honestly think he's like a Pro Bowl tackle. A guard. That Rams offensive line has been stepping up. Kyren Williams stepping up. And people just forget about Matthew Stafford and how good he is, man. Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. Will he be a Hall of Famer? That's a good question. I think he will be. I think he will be because he's been really good. But for them to both make the playoffs, I'm going to go warm. And the Colts are dragging it down just because of how tight the AFC is and the teams that they've already lost to. While the Rams, they have beaten the Saints. They have... Oh, no. They play the Saints this upcoming weekend, which I think they'll win. They should beat the Saints. They lost to the Packers. That's an issue. They do play the Giants, but I doubt the Giants are going to be in, the conversation. I don't see it happening. Minnesota. Did they play Minnesota? I don't think they played the Vikings. So the Vikings have a 6-3 conference record, and the Rams have a 5-4. So the conference record could hit the Rams here, but the Vikings do play the Lions the last 2 out of 3 weeks, so that's important. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go warm. For the Rams to make it, I'm going to go ice cold. I think the Rams are going to make it. They have a favorable schedule. They have the Saints. They have the Giants. And, if you're really fortunate, you might get the Niners without their starters. If the Rams have, or if the Niners have that 1 seed not, locked up. I was about to say locked up. Yikes. That'd be something. But 1-6 horror. Rams. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. But yeah, the Colts. I'm gonna go hot. I'm gonna say it's very unlikely. And that may be the unpopular answer. I want them to so bad. But it's very possible they slip up against the Falcons and the Texans. It's very possible they win out. I'm gonna go warm. I'm going to say it's unlikely, but not very unlikely. Because coaching has been really well. It depends what Minshew you got. Are you going to get a Minshew that's going to turn the ball over 3-4 times a game? It depends what kind of running game wants to show up. Is it going to be the running game that showed up against the Titans a couple weeks ago? Or is it going to be a running game that showed up twice, versus the Jaguars? They looked horrible. I don't know. That's what's going to matter. Can they find consistency? Can either side of the ball find consistency? Because we've barely been winning. Let's not act like we've been beating teams really well, because we haven't. Although we beat up on the Steelers pretty good. But take that for how you will with Mitchell Trubisky. But we were down 30 points at one point, so something to pay attention to. And not Trey Benson. That's a running back out of Florida State coming up. I've been watching a little bit of him. Not Trey Benson. I'm blanking on the guy that the Colts brought up. His first name starts with Trey Sermon and Tyler Goodson. If you could run if they could run like that, imagine what JT could do. And that is actually one of the top running defenses in the NFL, in the Steelers. They have one of the better run defenses. But yeah, I guess we'll see, man. Only time will tell. All right, next up from Tones. The Steelers shock everybody and somehow make the playoffs. Ah, man. As a Colts fan, you lost to the Colts that bad. I don't see it. And I think everyone agrees that the Steelers won't make it. This is Hot Take Tuesday. This is meant for these conversations. The conversations that aren't typically going to be had, we're going to have them here because that's what Hot Take Tuesday is about, But let's look at the Steelers remaining schedule. I have not looked at it, which I should have had that ready prior. But we were late as it is, so I wanted to get the show on the road. They play the Bengals. You probably lose to the Bengals. You played Seahawks. You probably lose to the Seahawks, and you probably lose to the Ravens. So the chances of them winning out are slim to none. They're slim to none, honey bun. I don't know why I just said that, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. I'll be shocked if they win 2 of these games. And considering you're already out of the picture at the 10th seed, and you have the Browns, the Bengals at 8 wins each, and you're playing the Bengals, you're going to worsen your conference record. You're going to worsen your division and conference record by 2 if you lose to the Bengals and the Ravens. Yeah, it's too heavy of a race for the Steelers to win. Now, if it was a bad year, there was not a lot of good teams or something, maybe. But you at that point, I would say no, because their offense is so horrible. They're such a mess, and even when the locker room was lost, they lost that coach. Mike Tomlin's lost his team ages ago, and we've heard from Big Ben and from outside sources that no one cares about the Steeler way. And I think once the locker room is gone, once a culture is destroyed, once players turn on themselves and turn on the coach and don't believe in the culture, there's no backbone. Yeah, we've been seeing it. You lost to the Cardinals and the Patriots, who, those teams had 2 wins going into those weeks. The Steelers gave the Cardinals and the Patriots their 3rd win heading into weeks 14 and 15. Yeah, that's pretty pathetic if you ask me. So I just don't see it. I'm gonna go piping. I am going to go piping hot. I really don't think the Steelers have any shot whatsoever, at all, making the playoffs. I would be shocked out of my mind. But all right, last hot take. We have another wild one. Get ready. And yes, I included a little snippet of what you guys said, of what Knighting said. He said, "Damn, that's loud." Okay, hold on, guys. I'm trying to get this figured out because I kind of lost the YouTube studio. Marshman, Colts playoffs, yes. Busy AF lately. Oh, getting Xmas break. Hey, there you go. There you go. The break is always nice, right? What's up, man? How you doing? I appreciate you stopping by. If you're here, if you're still here, I apologize. I have not, kind of commented. I really have not traversed back with you guys. It's been wild. It's been crazy. I'm trying to really, just get through this because it's really late. So I apologize if I'm taking a little while. I apologize if I'm not really replying to the comments as fast as I would be. I'm trying to, keep it going smooth and not saying you're a cause for it not being good. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that it's really late as it is, and I don't want to keep people up later than they need to be. People want to get to bed, and people are here. 3 people right now. I truly appreciate you for sticking by and watching down the stretch here this late. All right, last hot take is from SilverSabs. Saquon runs for 436 total yards against the Eagles both times they play. In each game, no. He meant both games combined. So that's an average of what? 218 yards, right? Let me double check. 436 divided by 2. That's 218. Yes, sir. That's 218. So it's just, I don't even know where to start with this one because it's a wonky take, right? I mean, the Eagles' run defense has been one of the worst in the last couple weeks. They let the Seahawks run on them pretty well. The Cowboys, the Niners, those guys really ran them really well. The Bills ran on them actually pretty well. The Bills really only had one driver. They ran at will at them, but they still ran it pretty well. Saquan running for 436 total yards, and even in both games combined, that's a 218 total yards per game. Now, if there's one game where, say, he has 175 rushing yards and he has a huge reception for 75 yards, that's 250, right? So you take 300. It's still, barely over halfway, so he would need to do that twice. So it'd be 318 minus 215. I'm not even going to do the math, but you guys get it. It's a lot. 318 minus 215. Hold up. No. It's 436. What am I doing? Okay. Pretend I just, I'm tired. Okay. Let's just, yeah. But Saquon running for 436 total yards against the Eagles both times they play, man, that's a little crazy. The Giants' offensive line it's a rough go. It's a rough go. Even if the Giants get the passing game going, why would they run the football? And if the Eagles get up on them early, which I wouldn't be surprised, Saquon in the running game is going to be taken out of it regardless. You know what I mean? And at first he said rushing yards, just rushing yards. 218 rushing yards versus one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. I know they've been one of the worst running defenses this season. Well, not the entire season. I think they're still the 7th or 8th best. But the last 3 games, they've been on a really bad slide. But, just a talent difference, you can't ignore that. In the trenches, and the Eagles defensive line versus the Giants offensive line, it's just a wild talent difference. I'm not being disrespectful. It's just, if you say this to anyone, they're going to agree with you. But, yeah, 436 total yards against the Eagles, just rushing. Even total yards, both ways, I am going piping hot, my friend. I mean, that's crazy. I'll be shocked if he gets 100 yards in both games. No, I'll be shocked if he gets 100 yards in each game. 100 rushing yards in each game. I will be surprised if he gets that. And it's not him. It's the offensive line. It's horrible. The offensive line is very bad. Very, 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 very bad. Of course, Saquon is a beast. He's a generational talent. He's a great running back. But when you have absolutely nowhere to run, even the quarterback, as soon as he snaps the ball, there are defenders in his face right there and then. No time to throw. So what makes you think Saquon Barkley would be able to find any space to run against one of the best defensive lines in the NFL? And on top of that, like I said earlier, the Eagles are probably going to be up, and they're probably going to be up by quite a bit in both of these games. Maybe there's one game where it's really close, and the Giants find a crazy way. And if the Giants find a way to win one of these games, I'm going to be really, really concerned about the Eagles. I don't care if it's the last game, and if it's not really for much. I don't care unless they have their starters or all their backups in. Then I would kind of be, okay, the Giants beat them, but I still don't think the Giants would be able to beat them with their backups in. It's just kind of what I think, man. But Buffoon guy, Eagles run defense is bad, but yeah, 218 a game is too much. I agree, fam. So any last thoughts from anyone? Anyone, want to talk about anything real quick? Because, it is 10:36. Buffoon guy, 1-6 horror. Marshman, Joshua Kissinger. I truly appreciate you guys for coming out because this was really late. And I really apologize for this episode of Hot Take Tuesday being really late. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys want Hot Take Tuesday to be live from now on every single week? Or do you think we should keep it a premiere? I feel like a premiere keeps it kind of exclusive in a way to a premiere because we don't have anything else that premieres. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know? But, Buffoon guy, I agree with you. But, hey, I appreciate you for coming out. Truly, it's really late, 10:37. I said 9:15 normal time. I thought we would have been able to get out at that time, but no. It's just, it was a wild week. Holiday coming up, but yeah, guys, that's all I got from me. But if you guys have any last thoughts, any comments, questions, concerns, I would like to hear them. So that's gonna be it for me. And once again, like I truly appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. I love every single one of you. Without you guys, there's no such thing as a JW Sports Talk Show. I may be starting a channel about philosophy and like, not like motivation, but like, yeah, it would be motivation, self-discipline, how to improve yourself, and that kind of stuff. So keep on a lookout for that. I'll post it in the Discord server or wherever. But I know this episode was a little chaotic. I feel like I wasn't at my best either. But that's what next week is for. That's why we improve. That's why we do this every single week. And giveaway next week. But all right, guys, that's enough blabbering from me. I appreciate you guys, and this is the JW Sports Talk Show. Signing off. I love you guys. I appreciate you.